Whether or not you're a history buff, chances are you've heard of the art of war. This ancient text on military strategy has become a timeless classic. Its wisdom has guided generals, business leaders, and thinkers for centuries. Yet, behind the book lies a lesser-known story. The journey of its author, Sun Tzu, from an obscure wanderer to a legendary undefeated general. Sun Tzu's real name was Sun Wu. He was born into a noble family, and his grandfather served as a high-ranking official in the state of Qi. Sun Tzu himself had begun a military career in Qi, but before he could realize his potential, the state fell into chaos. Fleeing persecution, Sun Tzu escaped to the state of Wu, where he lived in isolation on the outskirts, leading a quiet life away from the political turmoil. The story also features another key figure, Wu Zixu, who would become Sun Tzu's close friend and strategic partner, akin to the dynamic between Napoleon and his brilliant chief of staff, Louis-Alexandre Berthier. Wu Zixu was a prominent minister in the state of Wu. By chance, he encountered Sun Tzu in the rural outskirts of the capital. Through deep conversation, Wu Zixu recognized that Sun Tzu was no ordinary man. He sensed a rare, almost unmatched genius for military strategy within him. When Sun Tzu was introduced to King Helü of Wu by the influential minister Wu Zixu, the king was impressed by Sun Tzu's military strategy. Yet, before formally appointing him as a general, the king decided to put Sun Tzu to a challenging test. He asked, "If you are as skilled as you claim, could you turn my concubines into disciplined soldiers?" Obviously, King Helü had no intention of sending his palace women into battle. Instead, he wanted to test Sun Tzu's ability. Sun Tzu accepted the challenge and began training 180 palace women, appointing the king's two favorite concubines as the leaders of the left and right squads. He first established strict military rules, warning that anyone disobeying orders would be executed. With the ground rules set, Sun Tzu gave the first command, signaled by a drumbeat. But the women merely giggled and treated it as a game. Believing that the responsibility lay with himself for not being clear enough, Sun Tzu repeated the orders, emphasizing the importance of obedience. Yet when the second drumbeat sounded, the palace women still laughed and ignored his commands. Realizing that discipline needed to be enforced, Sun Tzu ordered the execution of the two squad leaders, the king's favored concubines. Although King Helü tried to intervene, Sun Tzu firmly replied, "Once a general is appointed, he is entrusted with command, and the king's orders cannot interfere." With this resolve, Sun Tzu executed the punishment, sending a powerful message. Immediately, the remaining women understood the seriousness of the situation. They quickly fell in line, executing orders with precision and discipline. By the end of the drills, they met the strict standards expected of trained soldiers. The outcome stunned the king. He realized that Sun Tzu possessed not only a brilliant strategic mind, but an unyielding commitment to discipline and command. Deeply impressed, the king appointed him as general, entrusting him with the full command of his armies. Though this story may seem harsh to us today, in Sun Tzu's time, failure to complete the king's task could have led to severe punishment. He had no other choice but to prove his resolve. In 506 BCE, Sun Tzu's first mission as a general was to lead a daring campaign against the powerful state of Chu. By his side was Wu Zixu, Sun Tzu's closest ally, responsible for intelligence and diplomacy. It was a battle that seemed impossible. The Chu army had 200,000 soldiers, while Sun Tzu commanded a mere 30,000 troops. To level the playing field, Sun Tzu began by securing alliances. He persuaded Tang State, a vassal state of Chu, to switch sides and exploited existing tensions to win over the neighboring states of Tang and Kai as allies against Chu. Speed is the essence of war. Sun Tzu understood this principle well. Before setting out, he ordered his troops to travel light, carrying only essential supplies and weapons. Dividing his army into small units, He led them along hidden trails and mountain valleys, far from the main Chu forces' sight. At night, his men lit campfires as if setting up for rest, but under cover of darkness, they continued to press forward. Although Chu scouts occasionally spotted signs of the Wu army, they couldn't decipher their movements, growing increasingly uneasy. Meanwhile, Sun Tzu sent smaller units to the Chu border to conduct surprise raids, harassing the enemy and forcing them to spread their forces thin. These skirmishes gradually led to confusion and disorder within the Chu ranks. Sun Tzu was waiting for this moment. Following the principle of avoid their strength, strike their weakness, he launched his first decisive attack, leading elite troops to ambush Chu outposts. The sudden assault stunned the Chu forces, and Wu's soldiers surged forward, their morale soaring. In each battle that followed, Sun Tzu used the terrain to his advantage, launching rapid and unexpected attacks. His strikes were precise and relentless, leaving Chu's forces little time to organize before they were overwhelmed. As the Chu soldiers scattered and fled, their morale crumbled. Meanwhile, the Wu army's spirit soared with every victory. After 5 consecutive wins, the Wu forces were unstoppable, like a sword aimed straight at Ying, the Chu capital. Sun Tzu rallied his troops at the gates of Ying, ready for the final assault. When they are unprepared, attack. Sun Tzu ordered the assault to begin. Ladders were raised against the imposing walls, and the defenders mounted only light resistance. The Wu forces overwhelmed the fortifications, breaking through and seizing Ying in a decisive victory. The entire campaign took less than a month. With only 30,000 men, Wu had conquered an army of 200,000 and taken the Chu capital. It was a masterstroke of Sun Tzu's strategy, showcasing his timeless principles of the art of war. Know your enemy and know yourself, and you will never be defeated. As Wu celebrated its greatest victory, a change in leadership loomed. After the death of King Helü, his son, King Fuchai, took the throne of Wu. In the early years of his reign, Fuchai relied heavily on Sun Tzu and Wu Zixu, which led Wu to victory over the rival state of Yue. They expanded Wu's territory, proving unstoppable on the battlefield. However, this legendary partnership would soon come to a tragic end. As Fuchai grew increasingly proud and complacent, he became vulnerable to the influence of corrupt advisors. Under their poisonous counsel, Fuchai turned against Wu Zixu, eventually forcing him to take his own life. The death of his close friend and ally left Sun Tzu disillusioned with the Wu court. With a heavy heart, he withdrew from public life, retreating into the mountains. Away from the chaos of the court, Sun Tzu focused his remaining years on perfecting his life's work, the art of war. Interestingly, despite being a brilliant military general, Sun Tzu was never one to glorify war. In fact, the art of war opens with a sobering reflection. War is a matter of life and death, the road to survival or ruin. It must be taken seriously. Sun Tzu believed that the highest achievement was winning without fighting. The art of war lay not in destruction, but in strategy, diplomacy, and ultimately peace. Though Sun Tzu did not lead Wu to unify the realm, his words would echo through history, influencing leaders and thinkers for generations to come. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, stay tuned. I'll continue sharing fascinating historical stories.